All right, so class 11. In this class, it's basically special effects. Now, obviously, special effects are one of those things that could be really cool, really interesting, and people enjoy them quite a bit. And it's, kind of a cool, stronger suit of Photoshop. Now, every effect is different, so really, the best way to do it is just to follow video tutorials on doing different visual effects. I have this one to do like cool, if you click on it, if you don't want to watch a video or whatever, it's basically a bunch of ones that just show you how to do like different text effects. You can do one of these if you want, but obviously if you use them, don't like do Lost in Space, like do your name or something, or change it in some way, or maybe combine two of them or something like that if you decide to do one of these. There's also this YouTube channel that I like quite a bit, and you could probably find a bunch of other ones as well, but basically it's just a bunch of like this one's kind of cool, like blend two images in Photoshop. Looks like she's in a road and it looks like water, and here's this like Doctor Strange looking thing. It's a bunch of cool effects and stuff, so you can, if you want to watch one of these and do these for your assignment and things like that. Most of these I don't think even work anymore. But the assignment for this week is just going to be to create a special effect image. It can be whatever you want. You have to have a project cover sheet. You have to have, you have to share in the project cover sheet where you got the tutorial from. So literally just copy and paste the URL at the top. It's going to be the use of the special effect. How well did you complete it? And then the creativity and craftsmanship. All right. And that will be due this week. What I'm going to do now is just do this, like Thanos snap kind of, effect where someone like fades away. It's going to be kind of a combination of a couple effects. So if, you're going to follow along, you just click on this and you can download this zip folder. You just save it and then you go to it and you uncompress it. And then here are the files here that you need. Okay, so what you're going to want to do is open up these in Photoshop. So I have Photoshop here, so I'm just going to go ahead and do File, Open, and I'm going to open up the background image. Let's go to Downloads, and let's go here. Okay, so I'm going to open up I'm going to open up this one, and this one, and this one. So these three. So we're going to do me, this background, and this as well. Okay, so open up those three. Great. Okay. So we're going to use this image. I'm just going to go ahead, and first thing we need to do is crop it like it's hot. So I'm going to do width, height, resolution. So 6x9 by 300. And let's flip it because this makes a better horizontal landscape. So we'll just hit enter, enter, boom. Okay, so it's control minus, minus, and good. So we're going to call that our backdrop. The other thing I want to use is this guy here. So let's swap out of that. And I more or less need to kind of cut him out. So let's use some of the tools here. Let's see. There we are. And I don't have it. Okay, I would suggest using that content. I'm on a different version here. The content selection tool. What I'm going to do is basically just use the magnetic lasso, and I'm just going to basically cut me out. So all the way up. Okay, sometimes you got to click. Okay, backspace, backspace, click, whatever, click. Seems to be struggling against this background. Space bar. Oh, backspace. Alright. Oh, backspace. Doing a really bad job. All the way around. Doing a whole lot of clicking around there. space bar. Oops, backspace, 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 backspace. Alright, this is doing a terrible job. The feet in particular look terrible. Alright, all the way around. Clickety clack. Alright. And double click when you get to the last one, and then we have that, right? So that doesn't look good. So what I'm going to do is just going to hit Q for Quickmask mode, or you click this button over here. Alright, oops. I don't know what happened there. There we go. And then I'm just going to switch to the brush here. I'm just going to make sure that it is a hard brush, and make sure it's black and white here. So just click and make this one black. Then you can click on the white one and make sure that one's white. Okay, so you have those two to work with. And then I'm just going to basically add or remove. So it looks like my opacity is way low. My flow's good. Okay. So I'm going to hit X. X will flip the two colors. So to add is the white color. So I'm just going to manually paint this all the way around. Right, so, and then X to remove as well. Right, so when I want to paint black and when I want to paint white, I just swap them both. Oops, Control Z, X. So you can kind of see what we're doing. Right. So it obviously sort of struggled here in order to, some spots it did a really bad job, like over here. And then don't forget the bracket keys to the right of your P key are the make brush bigger and smaller. Sort of those nitty gritty spots. Alright. I'm just swapping between the two X's in order to get my hands and fingers and what have you. Oops, I'm at X. B, X. There we go. I'm gonna try and get these really bad obvious spots where the bricks are like selected, right? So so I would do obviously a much better job. I'm just gonna try and do this relatively quick. Like obviously this grass on the feet and stuff could be much improved, but we're gonna call that good. So Control minus. All right. Obviously, when you go to do your assignment, you should spend much more time than that because I'm taking like 2 seconds. Okay, so I got it there. Just hit Q to back out, or you just click this again, the Quickmask mode. I'm just going to go ahead and just Control C, and I'm plopping in here, Control V. Boom, now I got my dude. All right, let's get in there. Okay, so we are going to do a couple of things here in order to make this look a little bit better. So let's see, let's make him a little bit larger. So we're just going to picture that Thanos did a snap and it did whatever, right? That it got rid of me. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of do a statue effect, and then we're going to do an effect of basically it dissipating away. All right, so with this layer, let's unlock this layer, and we'll just call this background like it was, background. And I'm going to just call this colored, okay? And I'm just going to duplicate this by hitting Control J or Command J. And then we're going to call this one gray. Now with this layer selected, you can probably guess what we're going to do. We're going to go to Image Adjustment, and we're going to do black and white. Black and white. And it's the same thing as doing desaturate. It's just that black and white allows us to, let's brighten the pants up a little bit, allows us to basically adjust the colors, how they're represented by their value. So let's say that's good. Okay, so with that layer selected, we're going to use this in order to do our displacement. So you're going to go to Layer, and you're going to do New. No, not that, sorry. You're going to do Layer, where are you? Duplicate Layer. Yeah, Layer, Duplicate Layer, sorry. And we're going to call this Displacement. And the destination is going to be a new document. So it's not going to be a new layer in here. It's actually going to make a new one. Maybe I got to put it in here. Displacement. Okay. And then we'll hit OK. And you're going to see it's going to basically make a new document out of that layer. We're just going to go ahead and save this. Control S. Maybe you know how to spell better than I do, but we're going to go with that anyway. And let's close that out. All right. So now, now we have our displacement layer. So now we're just going to go ahead and actually do the rock part. So we could go to, just so you get an idea, because I'm not a real big fan of that. So I could go on here and let's just do Bing, and let's do rock texture, and go images, and then basically find a texture of rocks that you think look nice. Something relatively large. So like this one's kind of cool, right? So we're gonna right click and view image, zoom it in, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and save this image onto my desktop. Texture rock. Boop. Okay. And then what I'm gonna do is actually open that up instead of using that granite one. And it should be right on my desktop. And where are you? Wait, I thought I saw it for a second. There. Open that up. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take this, Control A, Control C, and I'm just going to go ahead and paste in here, Control V. Alright. Let's Control T, because mine doesn't quite fit. And there we go. So now, I just want to make sure it's covering him. Okay, and we'll enter. Okay, so, now we have it on there. So now what we want to do is we want to displace this over our guy. So, to do that, we're just going to go ahead and do, with that layer selected, go Filter, Distort, Displace. And let's do 7 and 7. Oops. And 7. Stretch to fit is fine. Repeat edge pixels is fine. Hit OK. And then it's going to ask you for a file in order to do the displacing. So what you want to do is grab that displacement. This is it. That displacement file that you had exported earlier. That you made from a new layer. Now you'll notice that there's a little bit of a shift, and basically what it does is it'll look a little bit like what do you call it? Like if you did one of those little like magic picture things where you can kind of see, you know, if you look and cross your eyes, you can kind of see something. It's that kind of thing. So anyway, obviously I don't want all of it, right? I only want the part that represents me. So let's get in closer here. So you can kind of see it's stretching. I don't know if you can kind of see it, but it's basically going around my person. So I want to cut out everything but this part. So I'm going to do is I'm going to go on this one, and if you control click on here on a PC, you can see my cursor turns into the marquee thing, or if you command click on a Mac. So I'm going to click like that, and that's going to make that my selection. I'm going to go back to this layer, and then I'm just going to do Control Shift I, which is invert selection. There you go, select, inverse, and then hit delete. And that will get rid of, and then hit Control D to clear out the selection. Or you just go select, deselect, okay? And now you can see we have that texture on our guy, okay? And maybe you can tell now, I don't know if you can see, but see how it's like stretching to go around? So that's basically the idea of it. Great, okay. So that works fine. What I want to do now is I'm actually going to take this layer and I want to blend it with my gray layer underneath. So I'm just going to go like this, and we're just going to do multiply. And that way it rides sort of on top of the other guy. And that is, you know, okay. Let's go ahead and do image adjustment, and let's do exposure. And I'm just going to just to brighten up my day a little bit here. Let me see. Take offset up too, so it not so much. All right, on that texture, just so that you can see my guy a little bit better. Yay. Okay, and then from there you might want to add more adjustments. We can kind of see we made it look sort of statue-like, and that's yeah, that's a thing. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is sort of the Thanos snap part. So to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off this one and this one, and I'm going to take the my colored one here, okay, and we're going to do it on this part, and then we'll combine the two together to make it, you know, work better. Okay, so with this one selected, what we're going to do is this. I want to take this one, and we're going to duplicate it by Control J. So, and we're going to call this one particles, okay. Okay, so with this one selected, I want you to go to Filter, Liquify. Okay, and what I want you to do is this. We want to mask out part of it, so let's do the Freeze Mask tool. So I'm just gonna, and I want you to do this. Basically what we're trying to do is keep his right side, our left. We want to keep that from getting manipulated. So what I'm doing is I'm going to freeze it so that that is not as much a worry. All right. Like so. Okay. And we'll do it like here as well. Okay. Okay, so like that. Then what I want you to do is we're going to take the normal forward warp tool and take the density all the way up. And what we're going to do is we're just going to take, where's the show backdrop? I don't need the backdrop. So we're going to take it and we're basically going to, I want you to stretch out this like you're seeing here. Okay. Now it looks a little weird. It is a little weird, but you'll see the beauty of it in a little while. Okay, like so. It's so beautiful. Okay. Okay. Alright, come on. Stop being funky. Alright, so something like that, basically. Okay? Then you're going to hit OK. Ba-doop. That looks great. Alright. So, what we want to do is this. We want to just basically make it look like he is crumbling, being removed, right? So he's already separated from the background. So all we have to do is I'm just going to take it and make it into a quick mask right here. So with this selected, just make a quick mask, right? Now notice how it's all white. What that means is that everything's visible. So if I paint black, I'm going to go to my brush, right here, brush, and hit X, so I have black. If I paint black, wrong way, right? That is going to remove him, right? It's going to make it transparent, all right? But obviously this brush sucks. So what we got to do is look for a good brush that would look particle-y. So let's see, what's this chunky charcoal? Will this work? Chunky charcoal is not too bad. Something a little bit more sparse than that would be better. Let's see, special effects brushes. What's in here? Spatter. Let's see. Yeah, that's a little bit better. So we're going to use this spatter. But you could use whatever. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that and then let's open up the actual brush settings here. I'm going to take the spacing much farther. That's just going to make it happen less. And yeah, we're going to call that that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to basically try to brush like this. All right. So I'm just kind of going like that. All right. So we're just going to get big chunks like this. Trying to get him to look like he's fading away. And then we'll do smaller ones towards the edges here. So I'm just kind of playing around with the sizes as well. Because I really want the edges, you know, the very edge to basically be gone. So it doesn't make it a little bit easier. Let's take the spacing down a little bit to make that easier to remove. Okay, good, that's better. So we go like that. So we're just trying to make it look like we're fading away. It's game over, man. Kind of like this brush. I'll do a little bit here as well. All right, a little bit on the arm on this side too. All right, let's make that big again. Oops, didn't mean to do that. Oh, sweet. Okay. I don't know what happened there, but that's weird. Huh. Oh, because we're in... Okay, let's unlock that. Somehow that got in a weird mode here. Unmask. That's weird. Alright, well, apparently... Oh, no, it's not doing it. But apparently the if you hit to the right of the bracket key, there's the backslash or whatever that turns on this like masking mode, so you can see what you've been painting. All right, so yeah, we'll say we did something like that. That looks fine. Now it looks like it's dissipating, but you don't see any of the flakes coming off to the side, right? So what we're gonna do is this. We're gonna go to this one, turn this one on, right? This is obviously no bueno. And we're going to go ahead and also make this Quickmask, okay? But we're going to select this and regular paint bucket and paint that black. So nothing is showing by default, as well as this one that's showing everything. So we're going to make nothing showing. And then what we're going to do is use our brush here. Yep, still brush, thanks. And we're going to paint white onto it. And we're going to use that to reveal the splotches, right? So just so you get an idea, there's the picture underneath here, right there. And so what we're doing is we're revealing that picture. But that's going to give us our parts that are floating away, basically, that are coming off the side. So obviously there's a little bit of craft to it. Probably want to put a little bit more in. Right, and then you can see it looks like we're getting, you know, deteriorating. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine this with our, so I'm going to grab both of these sculpture ones and put underneath, and combine it with my sculpture one. And then what I'm going to do is to further enhance it on my colored one, or the colored one here. Again, I'm going to make sure I select the mask here. I have that paintbrush still selected. And I'm just going to paint off a little bit more. Oops, make sure it's right here. And basically what that's going to do is it's going to reveal, it more or less looks like I have paint coming off of me, as opposed to it just being, so basically I'm getting turned into a sculpture by the stuff being, you know, ripped off, as you can kind of see. It's better to kind of have areas of reveal, but then you can kind of see like, oh yeah, it looks like, you know, it's got pieces coming off. And that sort of gives us a similar look, but you can see basically there's the sculpture part and then the little flaky things coming off. And it's kind of a neat effect. But this is more or less a combination of two effects, right? Because you can find a effect where there's the particles coming off. There's a bunch of those. I forget what they call it, like dissipation or something. And then there's other ones where it goes like, I don't know, turn things to stone or turn to a statue or something, or make things look like rock. But this is more or less just a combination of the two, and you get kind of this neat effect of something looking like it's, you know, being deteriorated. Now, you can be really clever with this. I've seen all sorts of people do interesting things where they'll take like an umbrella, and then they'll have the umbrella like someone's holding an umbrella, and then it dissipates and turns into birds or something. Or, you know, you could try to do something that is a little bit more than just like I just threw myself and made myself into a sculpture guy. You know, maybe something with a little more meaning and what have you. All right. Yeah, so that's an example of basically an effect. There are a ton of effects. Another thing that might be helpful, if you are on a Mac, if you go to Help, you'll see over here it'll have like a search bar. On a PC it doesn't have it, which kind of stinks. But if you start typing in that search bar, like let's say you were looking for displacement or something, or displace. Once you start clicking in displace, what it'll do is that not only will it show you like in the help stuff where it is, but it actually will highlight. It'll scroll over here and then go down to distort, displace, and it will show a little arrow on it. It'll actually reveal it in the menu, which is really awesome. So if you're on a Mac, that's one feature I wish they had on the PC. So if you get stuck, that's something you can do as well. So yeah, for next week, what you're going to do is I just want you to make a really cool effect. Maybe do a couple of them and see if you find one that you particularly like, and apply it in an interesting way. This is one of those ones that like could be, you know, a really nice portfolio piece, like even in the future, because they're just really cool. People like these things. So if you run into issues, let me know. Otherwise, good luck.